Imagine yourself strolling through a kaleidoscopic modern city, dazzling displays in storefronts, a torrent of information on your phone screen, algorithms meticulously curating your next must-have item, your next must-attend experience. You're told you have the right to choose, that possibilities are endless, that you are endowed with unprecedented freedom. You can click, buy, subscribe, upgrade at any moment, each consumption act packaged as self-realization, personal expression, a shortcut to happiness. You feel a touch of satisfaction, a sense of control, as if your life is enriched and meaningful because of these myriad choices. Text. Yet behind this boundless choice and readily available convenience, have you ever paused to gaze into that profound doubt? Is this truly freedom, or is it merely a meticulously woven trap? When your desires are constantly stoked by the market, precisely targeted by advertisements, when your self-worth gradually equates to what you own, what you consume, do you still possess the freedom to refuse? When personalization becomes a mass-produced label, when uniqueness means closely following the next trend, is your uniqueness truly authentic or merely a domesticated product? Is the more, better, latest you pursue daily truly an intrinsic surge of life force or externally instilled anxiety? You think you are shaping yourself through consumption, but in reality, are you being shaped by consumption? Is this freedom not an invisible net, firmly binding your will and attention to an endless material pursuit, leaving you exhausted, yet never reaching true peace? Is this seemingly splendid freedom merely a grand illusion that makes you willingly trapped a cage called choice? Now, let us delve into this meticulously crafted illusion, peeling back the layers of psychological and philosophical camouflage. The impulse to possess that you feel is not accidental. It is rooted in humanity's most primitive will, as Schopenhauer termed it, that blind and ceaseless life drive, which in modern consumer society is precisely captured and amplified. You don't genuinely crave that new phone, that luxurious garment. You crave what they promise: recognition, admiration, transcendence, control. This is a profound psychological projection, casting your unfulfilled inner desires, your unaccepted shadows, onto external material objects. Jung's theory of the collective unconscious finds fertile ground here. Marketing giants are well versed in universal human archetypes: the hero, the lover, the sage, the rebel, and cleverly marry them to products. When you buy an SUV symbolizing power, you may not genuinely need off-roading, but rather yearn for empowerment. When you chase trendy brands, you may not truly love their design, but desire to belong to a certain community, to escape the fear of exclusion. Your brain, a sophisticated yet easily deceived organ, plays a crucial role in this mechanism. Dopamine, that messenger of pleasure, is released in large quantities when novelty and reward are anticipated. The pleasure you imagine from owning a new item far surpasses the actual feeling after acquiring it. This is the core of the desire loop. Each satisfaction quickly fades, leaving a greater void and a craving for the next dopamine hit. You are trained to be a perpetual motion machine of desire, always chasing the next gratification. Cognitive biases, such as the anchoring effect, initial price anchors influencing your value judgment, loss aversion, fear of missing out on limited time offers, and bandwagon effect, seeing others buy it makes you think it's good, are skillfully exploited. Sociologist Emile Durkheim pointed out how social norms are internalized by individuals. In a consumer society, how much one owns, how fast one consumes, becomes an invisible standard for measuring one's success and happiness. This collective indoctrination unconsciously equates consumption with self-fulfillment, even labeling the refusal to consume as outdated or failure. This is not an extension of freedom, but a more hidden, more powerful form of social control, tightly binding your intrinsic value to the external material world, causing you, in seemingly endless choices, to lose the true freedom of choosing not to choose. This illusion of consumption as freedom is silently eroding the core of your identity, reshaping your mode of being, and dragging you into an endless abyss of anxiety. When did you ever consider inner growth and spiritual richness as your true pursuit? Has your self-definition now become increasingly dependent on what you can afford, what brands you wear, what car you drive? Are your community relationships increasingly built upon shared consumption behaviors or a collective pursuit of material goods? This external validation traps you in a continuous cycle of self-comparison and status anxiety. You fear being left behind, being unfashionable, unable to meet society's unspoken definition of a successful person. This fear is more formidable than any prison wall, for it is built within your own mind. On a deeper level, this is an immense drain on your life energy. You invest vast amounts of time, effort, and emotion to earn money, merely to exchange it for fleeting pleasures. You believe you are filling an inner void, but each act of consumption may only be covering an existing emptiness with a glamorous wrapping paper, concealing a deeper, unfulfilled yearning of the soul. You are encouraged to be an insatiable consumer rather than a self-sufficient creator or being. Nietzsche's last man, those who pursue comfort, ease, lack grand ambitions, and are content with mediocre lives, find their perfect embodiment in the cradle of consumerism. They believe that the more they own, the freer they are, yet they fail to perceive that they are gradually losing the capacity for critical thinking, for deep experience, and most fundamentally, the power of self-definition. Your freedom is being replaced by happiness defined by commodities, your uniqueness assimilated by market-segmented positioning. This is not merely an economic phenomenon, but a profound, invisible plundering of the soul, leading you to gradually lose your true self in the pursuit of superficial abundance, ultimately becoming a puppet driven by desire and defined by the market. So, where does true freedom reside? It certainly does not exist on a shelf with infinite products, nor is it hidden in the next shopping spree curated by an algorithm. True freedom is the courage to look inward, a firm refusal of external temptations, a regaining of control over your own will. It begins with a simple yet profound question. What do you truly need? What is that deep-seated yearning within you, undefined by the market, unswayed by others? This first means shifting from having to being. Your worth is not determined by what you own, but by who you are, how you feel, how you think, how you act. As the Stoics taught, happiness comes not from satisfying all desires, but from mastering your desires, focusing on what you can control, your judgments, your choices, your virtues. This means you need to re-examine your life, shedding the material possessions and activities accumulated merely to meet external expectations. When you no longer buy for vanity, no longer pretend to love things for social reasons, you begin to reclaim your inner space. Your energy is liberated to pursue what truly nourishes your soul. Deep reading, creative expression, meaningful human connections, curious exploration of nature, or even simple contemplation in silence. This deconsumerization is not asceticism, but a conscious, selective, self-centered minimalism. It is a practice of Nietzsche's self-overcoming, no longer enslaved by base desires, but directing one's will to life towards higher, more challenging spiritual goals. You need to live like a true artist, with each day as your canvas, every choice you make a declaration of self, not a blind following of trends. The ultimate insight will utterly transform your conventional understanding of freedom. Freedom is not about acquiring more, but about shedding shackles. It is not about having the right to choose, but having the wisdom not to choose. When you can stand before the world's temptations, clearly discerning what is noise and what is your true inner calling, you will experience a resounding liberation. This freedom means you are no longer swayed by the sweet talk of advertisements, no longer entrapped by society's narrow definition of success, no longer exhausted by endless comparison. It means your worth stems from your very being, not from what you possess. True freedom is a powerful inner will, the ability to clearly hear the whisper of your own soul amidst overwhelming temptations. It is a reverse courage. When everyone else is rushing towards material things, you have the courage to stop and turn inward. When everyone is chasing the latest trends, you have the courage to stick to your ancient wisdom. This is not about becoming a hermit, but about becoming a conscious consumer. You choose to buy because it truly serves your core values and needs, not because it's a product of marketing strategy. It is, moreover, a creator's freedom. No longer passively consuming happiness defined by others, but actively creating your own meaning, your relationships, your life. When your identity is no longer defined by your bank statement or shopping list, when your happiness no longer depends on the next purchase, you will truly break free from those invisible chains and stand as the master of your own life. In that moment, you will discover that the more you sought has always been within yourself. True abundance is the vastness and self-sufficiency within, the boundless peace of the mind. And this is an unending, truly free journey of your own.